actually, Black Marines and white Marines have reached out and actually told us he went too far.
But going too far is different from criminal.
Let me break it down.
Going too far is different than criminal.
Oh my God.
This conversation was pretty interesting, and I want y'all to take a look and give me y'all thoughts on it as well.
So do you not blame Jordan Neely at all? I mean, for what he did? He deserves no blame from your perspective, right?
Did you hear the witness testimony?
I'm asking you a question.
Or are you cherry-picking the ones?
I'm asking you a question. Do you blame Jordan Neely at all for his conduct?
If Jordan Neely was a white man, we'd be saying it was an opioid crisis. He was hungry. He was mentally ill.
That's one of those things where instead of me just responding and saying, she's playing victim, it's not about white and black. But then I start to sit there and think, if Jordan Neely was white, we'd be calling it an opioid crisis. And I'm like, damn, that's an interesting point. And then I'm like, who would call it an opioid crisis? And it sounds very Joe Biden-ish. It sounds very, we just played the video the other day. I should have had it queued up, but we got too many videos to get through anyway. Where Joe Biden's sitting there years ago, I don't know whether he's in Congress, this is when he was a senator. He's saying that if you get caught with a piece of crack cocaine this big, you're going to jail. You're staying away from my mother, away from our families, right? Remember that was the energy? Because that's crack, right? The crime bill was harsher with crack compared to the same drug, but just in a different form of powder. Who was more known for using the cocaine, the powder form? More affluent, more white, right? Let's just call it what it is. Who was more associated with the crack cocaine, the hard? That's more the impoverished areas, more black areas. So when I'm sitting here thinking about this, and even when I think about the opioid crisis right now, it was huge in Staten Island. And I just sat back and I'm looking at it and I'm like, damn, when it seems like, it's people doing heroin, it's all the same drug, right? Opioids, right? When it's this, it seems like, we got an opioid crisis. But when it's over here, it's like, nah, lock them up. They're bums. They're drug addicts, right? It's kind of looking at it different ways, but nobody illustrates that point more than good old Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, perhaps. Because when it's one thing, it's like, let's just keep going with the video. Let's just keep going.
He had a muffin in his pocket.
I wouldn't be if there were other. What about the witnesses? Let's play again, just so we're clear on the race.
Play Eddie Gibson, who begged Daniel Neely to stop.
But he stayed there throughout the incident.
Play the ones that fit the narrative.
But what's the narrative? There's black women who were on the subway. It was mostly people of color on the subway.
What about a white man during cross-examination who said that he was afraid of Daniel Penny, the one who poured water onto his head and said that he was afraid? He was a white man.
Yeah, okay, so...
What about the Latino man who was holding his arms?
I'm not the one identifying everyone by race. You are. You're the one who keeps telling... Why? Why do you have to? There was nothing in this case.
Because when you look at the FBI, when you look at when hate crimes happen, when you look at when injustice happen to black people,
but let's agree.
Don't get justice.
Let's agree to some... Look, I am one...
Now, see, I don't agree with all that. Y'all know I don't agree with all that. I don't see everything through race. I'm not doing that. Stop it. Knock it off. Not doing all that. But that doesn't mean that certain points that she makes are not valid. That doesn't mean that because I disagree with her stance on this thing or on 10 of these things that she can't make a point on 2 of these things. And that's what being objective allows you to do, rather than just being, I'm a diehard MAGA, I'm a diehard liberal, I'm a diehard. Well, no, bro, I'm not none of that. I'm me. I have a certain moral compass that allows me to evaluate situations, and I'm led by that, not led by an affiliation to a political party or an affiliation to my favorite podcaster. I'm not doing that. Let's keep going.
I'm going to be doing a segment later this week on a missing black woman who has not been getting nearly enough attention.
Send it to me and I'll share the post.
By the media.
Absolutely.
Because I understand that, and to that degree, you have a fair point about the way sometimes the media and the justice system handles. But not in this case. This case, even the prosecutors conceded Daniel Penny had every right to go hands-on, and the question became, okay, when should he have stopped? I understand that.
The time frame on that,
right,
from the DA's office was after 30.
Now that's exactly. So it seems like I agree with what Dan Abrams just said. don't need to look at this and just take her side or just take his side. It's just more of a time frame. It's just like, yo, I get it. All right, boom. All right, you put hands on him, cool. But at what point do you decide to lighten it up a little bit? At what point do you have him in control to where he's not as much of a threat? You got other people helping you? At what point, or is there just no point?
30 seconds. Can you not concede that Daniel Penny was a trained killer? That he not have his gray belt? United States Marine Corps is an assassin.
Sure, but
he knew. Let me
so
finish.
every Marine is a trained
because
assassin.
actually, Black Marines and white Marines have reached out and actually told us he went too far.
But going too far is different from criminal.
Let me break it down.
Going too far is different than criminal. So I guess Dan Abrams is acknowledging that he went too far. I would say that we're on the same page. I don't know if it's criminal based on what they charged him at. I don't know if it's. I would assume that at certain point going too far could fall into certain criminal categories. I'm like I said, I'm not as familiar with the charges. I believe that there were some lesser charges that he could have been convicted of, and I saw something say unanimous. I may be wrong, but I believe that the jury unanimously voted to let him go. I don't know.
A chokehold, a blood chokehold, which he did. You're only supposed to hold someone in that move for 8 to 13 seconds. Yeah. You're not supposed to do it longer than 2 minutes. Why did Daniel Penny, when the train was completely clear, everyone was on the platform?
I got to keep it real. In this video that we just see right here, look at this.
Why did Daniel Penny?
It looks like Jordan Neely is. I can't really make it out, but at this point, it doesn't look like he's much of a threat. But I'm not there, also. But I'm telling y'all, it doesn't look like he's much of a threat. Looks like his eyes are damn near rolling in the back of his head or rolling somewhere around his head.
When the train was completely clear, everyone was on the platform. Why did he hold it for nearly 6 minutes?
Because he was scared.
He was a Marine is scared of of someone he labeled as a crackhead.
Again, is it not possible that Daniel Penny, when he's doing this on the spot?
I believe he is still scared, still nervous. That's like, oh, I'm LeBron James. I don't get nervous before basketball games. Like, I mean, maybe LeBron doesn't, but every athlete that I know, they still get those butterflies and nervous before a game. Even if you're trained more than somebody else that you're getting ready to compete against, or you get into, so if that's sport, then I'm assuming in a life or death situation, or what could turn into a life or death situation, the guy would still have some type of nerves or some type of fear. Like, I'm not saying that he's scared to death of him, but maybe maybe that's a good point, actually. There's a lot of people that have fears and are scary and are scared that they may not necessarily show it. I'm not saying the guy saying like, oh my God, I'm scared. That's not how fear is always demonstrated. It's not.
Stepping up to help people of many different races, moves in and doesn't have a clock with him to decide when he should stop and when he shouldn't, which is why, in the end, the jury acquitted, right?
No, actually, Daniel Penny was trained very well by the United States Marine Corps, and he knew what the signs were. He knew when Jordan's body was slacking. He knew that Jordan was going to die. Why didn't you show his face, Dan? You're a good man. Of when he laughed and when the first response, I'm critical of the police. We know this, right? NYPD tried to save his life while they were doing chest compressions. Daniel Penny laughed and said chest compressions. A good person, a hero. One last thing. Why did he never ask about the well-being in that police department about Jordan Neely?
So you're asking, a hero. You're asking a lot of questions that are sort of rhetorical questions, right? But the ultimate question is, why did the jury acquit? Is it because they're racist?
America is inherently biased.
So the jury is racist.
Have you seen?
I'm asking you a question.
Now, first she said America is inherently biased. Everybody's biased. Everybody's biased. So she's not wrong about that. But to use it in this way, she's probably insinuating something different than when I say it. Everybody's biased. We're all biased. We're all prejudiced based off of our previous experiences. That's called being intelligent. That's called being aware of your surroundings. Nobody's walking around gullible, just like, oh, like, I'm just going to leave my car open, car unlocked in Newark in the early 90s. Yeah, it's all good. Did you not see the movie New Jersey Drive? Like, yeah, you're prejudging the situation based on previous experience and previous knowledge. We all do that. We all do that. But let's keep going.
Don't change the subject. Is it because the jury is racist?
Yes.
Okay.
The jurors.
Even the black person on the jury.
Would you like?
I think bias and prejudice is totally different than racist. But listen to the point that Dan Abrams makes, because it may be, this may show how he's a little bit disconnected to the black experience. Let's listen.
Yes.
Okay.
The jurors.
Even the black person on the jury.
Would you like to hear something
Yeah.
from me? I believe that even black people can be anti-black. People are.
Just him asking that question, even the black people on the jury. Yeah. How many times have I said on this show, I prefer to get pulled over by a white police officer? And my god brother, my best friend, you know what I mean? Trust me, I have people that are very close to me that are police officers. Black. But I'm telling you, based on my experiences, I've had better experiences dealing with white cops compared to the black cops. Matter of fact, the only times that I've had aggressive cops trying to give me tickets were black cops. When we use this example all the time. You as a black person walk into that Jamaican restaurant. Walk into that Jamaican restaurant and then let somebody else white walk into the Jamaican restaurant and you see who gets treated a certain type of way. And of course, I'm stereotyping, of course, but I'm basing it on my experiences. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of black people that feel the same. The same way that white people look at black people look at black people, and sometimes even worse, if we're being real. So Dan Abrams asking that question as if, oh my God, black people can't be racist to black people. Why can't they? Black people can participate in white supremacy, right? We had black people that were working with the slaveholders, right? They don't participate in white supremacy. I guess it depends on your definition of racist. But black people can look down on black people just as much or more than white people. And there's another question that I want to ask that I'm gonna, when we play Jordan Neely's father, there's a comment that he made, so I may wait to fully dive into this. I will wait to fully dive into it, what I'm gonna say. But let's keep going with this, and then we'll get into the Jordan Neely, and then we'll get into Jordan Neely's dad.
Or predeceived to see black people as a threat and as a victim, because people called in. You heard the voice recordings.
Hold on.
Would you like to hear something from me?
Let's
I believe
hear
that
this.
even black people can be anti-black. People are predeceived to see black people as a threat and as.
I was gonna hold off till Jordan Neely's dad, but I'm gonna say it now. Exactly what she just said. If somebody asked me, and I'm being real. Do I want to go that route? All right, so I'm gonna ask all of us the question and then I'll answer. I'm not gonna run from it. Do we think that black people are more violent than white people? Do we think that black people are more violent than white people? Now that question can go a lot of different ways, right? If I look globally, I'd say, hell no. White people are far more violent than black people, globally. Matter of fact, the only place that I'll say that black people are more violent as a black person are in black neighborhoods. To black people. Let me be walking through the Bronx right now, and I would feel like I'm more at risk of something happening looking the way that I look compared to a white person. Just is what it is. I'd be nervous to get mistaken. I'd be nervous to get the value of black life. This is what it comes down to. The value of black life is less significant than white life. Didn't Pac, well, like at the end of Pac's song Changes, when he says something like, look at the way we treat each other. It's on us to do what we got, right? We got to start treating each other better, right? That's what they're let's just be real. We treat each other terribly. We see each other terribly. Look at our culture. Look at our culture. Listen to our music. And I was going to bring up this point later on about, and I think Candace Owens mentioned it. She did mention it in the interview with Nick Cannon that we showed on Monday. What did Confucius say? Matter of fact, I think I have it somewhere here. Confucius, right? The Chinese philosopher. What did Confucius say? Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing it. Then I'll give you the real quote. But my paraphrase is pretty much like, show me the music of the music. Let me hear the music, and that'll tell me everything I know. That'll paint the picture of what your culture is like. Let me hear the music. And this is the exact quote, I think, based on my Google. If one should desire to know whether a kingdom is well governed, if its morals are good or bad, the quality of its music will furnish the answer. So let's just be real. When we see a black person, when we think about a black neighborhood, think about a black neighborhood compared to a white neighborhood. Which one do we consider more dangerous? Just in our now, I know you could say, well, there's some places in West Virginia in the back country that I would feel a little nervous. We get all that, but I'm talking about just in general, the first thing that comes to mind. The first thing that comes to mind. Let me catch up with the comment because I think Uncle Brother had a couple good comments. Uncle Brother wrote, I suspect this and the CEO's shooting are distractions. There's something else we should be paying attention to in play, but we're too busy arguing over minutia that ultimately serves to keep us divided. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Now, these are definitely distractions. I'm not saying that that they were put there out there on purpose. I don't know. I'm also not saying that they're not. The timing of it, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even. It is what it is. Like they've done weirder things that I've thought that they've done weirder things. You get what I'm saying? So I'm agreeing with you. And then you wrote, Black Americans have learned violence from mimicking our oppressors. I would agree with that. Isn't that that's like a scientific, I believe that's proven in a lot of different areas where I think the first thing that comes to mind is people that get abused, sexually abused, maybe when they're young. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that they're more likely to mimic the actions of the people that oppressed them or committed these crimes against them, that victimized them. So I would agree with you on that. I would definitely agree with you on that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll try to get through a little bit more.
As a victim, because people called in. You heard the voice recordings when they called 911. Jordan Neely was in a chokehold for over 4 minutes, turning purple, which Black people do in fact do that, and people still saw him as a harm. Even when his body went limp, he was still viewed as a criminal. So I'm sorry if I'm going to defend the needy, if I'm going to defend the poor. Why does no one talk about when Jordan Neely came on asking for water and being thirsty? Why does no one talk about?
Because they're talking, because that's not what happened right here. What happened right here, the reason he was held was not because he was asking for water. It's because he was scaring the heck out of everyone on the subway, which apparently he's done before.
Dan, anyone who has rode the New York City subway has encountered mentally ill people. Why are we not having this conversation? Scary. And we don't kill them.
But you know what?
We offer help or we get out of the way.
But more people wish people would step up more and help and stop people from doing it.
So are you giving a license to vigilantism? Are you saying that we should kill people? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying is it's very unfortunate. I think Daniel Penny would say it is really unfortunate that he died.
Why didn't he care when he was at the precinct? He showed no remorse.
Because
I don't know if he would say that. I believe he just did an interview. I don't know if he did say that. Maybe somebody could let us know. This is what I was saying earlier. It's so funny that I didn't even listen to this full conversation. Y'all know sometimes I just listen to the beginning and then I like to listen to it live and respond live with y'all as y'all are hearing it. But Dan Abrams, he's saying a lot of the same things. Like, I mean, did he say that he should be remorseful or that he thought it was unfortunate? Let's go back and listen to what he said.
It's very unfortunate. I think Daniel Penny would say it is really unfortunate that he died.
I think that he should say that. If he didn't say that, I think that's the bare minimum. That's the least you could damn near say. You know what I mean? So,
why didn't he care when he was at the precinct? He showed no remorse.
Because he was defending what he did.
He lied in that defense, too. Do you know he told people, he told the police, who people love, that people...
Whoa, Abrams. You can't just let that go. What? I'm not aware of what... So he lied about something, and then Dan Abrams sitting there saying, yeah, I know. Usually when somebody lies, the credibility goes out the window. Just like with Meg Thee Stallion, right? I hate to use that as an example. It's the first thing that comes to mind, free Tory Lanez. When Meg Thee Stallion lied about having sex with Tory, it made me look at the case a totally different way. I'm like, damn, if she lied about this, then what else is she lying about? Isn't that how we typically make sense of things in our day-to-day lives? So for him to just kind of just act like, oh yeah, I know he lied, to just move on so quickly, this is what happens when you become so radicalized by a situation, when you're just playing teams and picking sides and not looking at it from an objective standpoint.
At the precinct, he showed no remorse.
Because he was defending what he did.
He lied in that defense too. Do you know he told people, he told the police,
I know,
who people love, that people respect the police's opinion, right? People respect what they do. People respect that honor. He lied in the 5th precinct. How can anything he do, can we just stop calling him a hero? Can we do that?
No, I can't. I actually do.
So he just admitted that he lied 30 seconds ago, and now he's still calling him a hero.
I do view what he did as heroic. Thanks for watching. Go to.
It's interesting. Hold on. Let's switch to this last video on this topic. I wanted to hear his dad speak. So this is Jordan Neely's father speaking after Daniel Penny was acquitted.
Ew, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.